Okay, another week, another update of rental house versus high income ETFs. Almost a year ago, we sold this rental house and took proceeds from this rental house and put it into a Robinhood account. And we've been buying some covered call income ETFs. My theory is that ETFs would do better than the rental house. These videos might come off as a bit like I'm anti-rental property, and that's not the case at all. The rental properties got me to the point where we are, and well, helped get to the point where we are. And we had most of our rental properties paid off, and we just started selling them a few years ago because it's time to retire and travel and do other fun stuff. Since they were paid off, we trying to figure out what to do with the money. I thought if I could replace the rental income, that would be great without the hassles of tenants and those types of things. And the covered call ETFs seem to be working, so that's what we're doing. Hope you find this fun and entertaining. So, if you're new to this and if you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you would subscribe. It'd make my day. And like the video and turn on notifications, and just so everybody knows this is not financial advice. This is just entertainment. So let's look at the SPY, the S&P 500, basically the ETF SPY. And I like to look at this as a general idea of how the market is doing overall. And you can see overall, it's been on a nice upward trend since the beginning of May. But one word sends things a little bit south, and that word is tariff. On Friday, things took a little bit of a dip because of the tariff scare. If you look at the RSI, it dropped way down to 41, which means this could be oversold a little bit. And typically, I would be looking for this to bounce back. So anyhow, enough of that. So the account is at 85,000, started out at 70,000 last November. I'm using margin. The margin I'm using is 77,000. And if you want to see what I'm holding, these are all the things we're holding: QDTE, AIPI, MAGY, QQQI, GIAX, and SPYI. My favorites of these are QQQI and SPYI because those seem to just steadily grow. When there's a dip in the market, it seems to bounce back rather quickly, and they pay nice yield each month. I also like MAGY, and that'd be one of my favorites until it starts to let me down, and then it won't be my favorite anymore. Anyhow, I rebalanced some things a couple weeks ago. In the video last week, I explained what I did for rebalancing everything, so I won't repeat that. And this is more about week to week what's going on. Last week, I paid some interest on that margin, and I got a distribution from MAGY, and I got a distribution from QDTE, and then I got another distribution for 169. Actually, that will be for Monday next week, so that's pending. I bought some shares of stock. I sold some QDTE, 700 shares. I bought 250 shares of MAGY and 75 of QQQI and also 75 at SPYI. Then I bought another 50 shares of MAGY when the price dipped down just a little bit. But thinking back, I should have waited till this week and bought 100 shares of MAGY. This shows the distributions I'm getting each week. If you want to see how things were last month, I'm kind of running out of room here. So I used to show a couple of months worth of results, but these are the monthly totals here. It's for September. I collected $34.99, about 3,500. And for this month, I expect to get just a little bit more than that because it's going to be 5 Fridays and QDTE pays every Friday. So probably close to 4,000 this month. We'll see. And the overall distribution, people say, why don't you just buy QQQ, just leave it alone. This shows what each of the funds that I own, except for MAGY, because that's relatively new. But all these funds have been around since last November. And this shows the total results for that since that time. So that's been almost 12 months, almost a year. So these are the returns. You see QQQ is up 18%. This experiment is up 22.74. So I'm pretty happy that I'm beating the market overall. The S&P 500 is up about 12.5%. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. You can see that GIAX is my lagger in this group, but it's okay. QQI is my favorite and it's actually outperforming the S&P 500. And SPYI is at almost 10%, so that's lacking behind the S&P 500 by a couple percent. But by using margin, I'm earning returns on the 160 some thousand, not just the original 70,000. And I think the balance is 85,000 now. And this shows how I projected things would happen. I projected I'd be sitting at 100,000 right now, and I'm sitting at 85,000. Last week I was at 89,000. The market took a 4% dip this week. Well, actually, my account took a 4% dip. The market did like a 3.5% dip. This is all about comparing this account with a rental house. So I would have kept the rental house. That rental house would have been starting out at 70,000. I know that's kind of a low number compared to a lot of places in the nation, but in rural Illinois, that's what this rental house was worth about a year ago. It's probably worth like 90,000 now, maybe, but I don't know that because I don't own that house anymore and I haven't tried to sell it again. If I would have kept that house, I would have been collecting some rent each month. This column here shows the rent collected, the insurance, and the taxes. Cash balance would be like 5,000, and the equity would have grown. I said it might be worth 90,000 now. I don't know. I started at 70,000 for what it was worth a year ago, and I added 4% per year, which comes out to be $233 per month. So I added that up here, and then you have the rents collected plus the equity, and come out with 77,836. If you do the math, the rental house is worth this much. My ETFs are worth this much. Both started out at 70,000, and the ETF is up by over $8,000. And before I go, I'll just remind you this is not financial advice, and I don't expect anybody to try to do this. It's just me showing you what I'm doing, and it's kind of fun. If you learn something from it, that's great. If you find it entertaining, that's great. So don't forget to like, and we'll be back next week with hopefully a more positive update.